well, it's still doing the same thing, preparing to live stream, setting up your webinar for YouTube Live. So as soon as it goes live on Facebook, if you done, okay, so we are live on YouTube. Hold on a second. Let me give everybody the link. Well, it's still doing the same thing, preparing to live stream, setting up your webinar for YouTube Live. So, okay, so I'm putting up the link for YouTube because we are not on Facebook, we are on YouTube. So I just posted that there. And we got 4 people, so we're gonna give them a few minutes because it looks like people were trying to check both sites, okay? Let me send this to a few folks. So for you all who are getting text messages, tell them to go to the International Masons YouTube channel. Be surprised how many text messages came through. I'm like, give me a second to let all these folks know that we are switching to. Hey, Sister Towns. Hey, Sister Brown. Good evening. Give folks a few more minutes as I'm sending them the link to YouTube. I make sure I send the President and First Lady the link because okay. Okay, we got it. So we'll give folks, let's say 3 more minutes. How about that? 8:35. Y'all good with that?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, to give people time to transition over. Yeah. Things we do, the things we do. Okay. So we are getting up there. Good evening, good evening. Okay. Brother Gillard, your thumb is on the screen.
He trying to
do that or not, but your thumb was on the screen. Okay. So we'll give folks 2 more minutes and then we will start. So thank you all for logging in. We apologize for the technical difficulties. You know, with Florida being such a large state and so many of the members trying to log on, we had to shift it to YouTube instead of Facebook because of the large population of Floridians trying to access the site. And of course, the Southeast being the largest national district in international, we wanted to make sure that we gave everyone equal access. So good evening. We probably will remove this video from YouTube and upload it on the Facebook page. But for now, we're going to broadcast live on YouTube. And in about a minute, we will start at 8:35, give folks time to transition from Facebook to YouTube. Okay, so we have, let me say hello to folks and then we can get started. Sister Mashika Towns, good evening. Sister Cynthia Brown from Florida. Grandmaster Demetrius Terry from Georgia, good evening. Sister Erica Curtis, Sister Pamela Wright, good evening. Sister Ethel Robinson Ellison. Sister Denise Jameson, good evening. Sister Shalandria Wright. Ms. Mack, I'm not sure who Ms. Mack is. Sister Quineldra Grimes, Brother illustrious Alex Dixon from the great state of Florida. Grand Matron of North Carolina, Sister Latoya Caldwell, illustrious DeWitt McGowan, National District Grand Master for the Midwest. Terrence 6473, illustrious Terrence Bennett, thinking that's Florida. Sister Elena Jones, Sister Chantel Hicks, Sister Priscilla Phillips, Sister Georgie Anna Smalls McCrae, Sister Mary Coates, Sister Myrtle Miller, Mocha Red Gemini 74. Anybody know who that is? Okay. Sister Trellis Johnson, good evening. Okay, the Midwest is here. Welcome, Midwest. Welcome to the Southeast National District YouTube Live, as well as Florida Grand Lodge and Grand Chapter Live. Good evening. So we're going to do introductions. We'll start from the top and work our way down.
Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters. I am the illustrious Wayne Gillard, Southeast National District Grand Master.
Sister Chandra.
Good afternoon. My name is Sister Chandra McCann, serving as the Southeast National District Grand Matron. Good afternoon.
Anytime you want to go, Grandmaster.
Okay. Good evening to all my IFAM family. I bring you greetings from the illustrious Rumpus P. Brown Grand Lodge from the great sunshine state of Florida.
Okay. And our Grand.
Good evening. From Sister Peachy Tresvant, Grand Matron of Florida.
And good evening, everyone. I'm illustrious Lamont Evans, and we are here representing International Masons. And, you know, because we haven't been able to put on our black suits and black ties, or for those who wear white dresses, we don't wear white dresses, but there are those who do wear white dresses and fezzes. We wanted to show out and show up with the Southeast National District tonight. And with that being said, as we always do with meetings, I think this would be fitting for us to do a song. Wouldn't you say, Grandmaster?
I think so. Wonderful time.
Okay. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Our leaders
know the
friends been
friends
traveling
traveling
far
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 and
and
wide,
And
and masonry, which is the surest kind. So join our ranks, saints, and say our thanks for sharing with the wise the
mysteries
mysteries
they
provide.
provide.
International is our masonry. Love, brother, our fraternity.
So hang with it.
Faith,
Humanity
through
charity
is our
Mason's
Mason's heartfelt song.
What a great chorus. I imagine if we were all in the same stands together, you would probably get the harmonizing that we were trying to do. And I was looking at lips and trying to follow Grandmaster Stevens, and then I was looking at Grandmaster Gillard. And so we were just trying to work this thing out. And so thank you, Sister McCoy, who says you're doing good. Because, you know, just like little kids, we need that encouragement, like, keep going, keep going. So we were getting it. And so want to just check in with our National District Grand Master for his thoughts and opening remarks, as well as our National District Grand Matron. And then we're going to go to the great state of Florida. And then we got a few questions for our leaders, our National District and our Grand Officer leaders. National District Grand Master, your opening
Yes, sir.
Thoughts.
Again, I say good evening to you, my brothers and sisters.
Okay, we have lost audio.
Okay. I pray that you all are doing well and staying safe during this time. I ask you continue to do the things that the CDC asks you to do in reference to this virus, and stay in touch with your members at this time. Still there?
Yeah, we still here. We're waiting on your teleprompter to move. We know you got a teleprompter.
There you go. There you go. That was it. I pray that each member is staying safe at this time.
Okay. National District Grand Matron.
Yes. Again, I'm glad to meet with you all this evening. Just know that we're praying for you and your families, and please do the same for us. We ask that you please stay safe, keep in contact with your families, as well as your sisters and brothers in this order, and just keep prayed up, to stay prayed up.
Grandmaster Stevens.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Your opening.
Again, I say good evening to each and every one of my brothers and sisters there. I wish it was possible that I could see your beautiful faces, because it's been a long time since we've seen each other. But by the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we will be seeing each other real soon. Y'all be blessed.
Okay. Grand Matron.
Good evening once again, brothers, sisters, family, friends, if you're hanging in there with us. It is truly a pleasure to be here with you this evening, and particularly since it would have been leading up to our grand session. Unfortunately, you are all aware that we had to change it to another date, which is the second weekend of August, if everything is clear and we're able to proceed with it. But it is definitely a blessed time to be on here with you and knowing that you're with us because you're safe, we're safe. But I do ask that all of us take this issue very, very seriously, and not, utilize God in the wrong way, meaning that God will protect us, but he also gave us the forthright knowledge to protect ourselves. And this is what we must do. So once again, good evening.
Thank you, National District Grandmaster Grand Matron in Florida, Grandmaster Grand Matron. So jumping right into, and just so you all know, I was able to link this from YouTube to the Facebook. So for those who can't get to the YouTube, it is now broadcasting on both Facebook and YouTube.
Awesome.
Want to give y'all a heads up on that. So Grandmaster Gillett and Grand Matron McKent, being that we're all locked in right now, right? As far as what are you all doing to stay in touch with the Grandmasters in all of the states that you all oversee?
With email, myself with email, conference calls, Zoom, any type of communication I use, just keep them informed of what's going on and try to keep in touch and find out, what each state is doing and what each state may need from myself or the brotherhood.
All the Grandmasters are healthy and strong in the Southeast?
Yes.
Okay. Grand Matron McKent, what about you? You and the sisterhood?
Yes, we're doing the same thing with the sisterhood. I like phone calls, so I do phone calls, mainly with the grand matrons. I also do text. With the other members, we do group me and emails, Zoom meetings, stuff like that. But we're just staying in touch with all our grand matrons and all our members.
How often do you all chit chat?
It just depends. At least once a week, I would call one grand matron at least and talk to them.
Okay. Grandmaster.
Yes, sir.
The state of Florida is the largest state in international. I know you still, I don't know if you and Sister Tresran are still getting them from the Bahamas and Cuba and on the boats and all that. But I know you keep growing, even during the midst of this pandemic. I think you're still growing. So that's kind of amazing that you're growing. But how's the state of Florida doing right now, and you and the brotherhood?
Florida is doing great by the grace of God. And I look back at this virus that is about us there now, most of us have to stay in. Especially when you get my age, you got to stay in and be very careful, but all I could do now is just call on the phone and check on all my brothers, especially the elderly brothers there, because they seem to be forgotten. And it feels good, when you talk to them and they're doing fine. But we have a lot of communication lines, by phone, by Zoom, chat lines. And each section, where big as Florida is, we have the central section. They have communication with Big Bay. The northern section has a site called Big Bend. The southern and the southeast section have the Tri-County connection, because that consists of Miami and Fort Lauderdale and all like that. But then most of the lodges has their private chat line. But one thing I like about being the Grandmaster, I see everything. So I'm not left in the loop, So we keeping very much in touch with each other there, as usual, and it's good, to talk to the brothers often like we do.
Grand Matron, you got a large sisterhood. Lord knows if you show up at a Florida Grand session in April, the room is more than half white. But you got to look to the right, and I'm sure there's some black suits over there somewhere, right, Grandmaster Stevens?
Of course.
Right, but I know if you walk in, though, if you look to the left, Lord knows all that white, it's like the sun has just dropped in on the state of Florida. How are you doing with all them sisters?
Well, it's business as usual. I'm heavily depending upon the other officers, such as the worthy matrons, because who would know their members or should have contact with their members more than the chapter that they are in.
Sure.
And this is a time where we can really utilize our educators to reach out to membership. And hopefully, if there are members that really want to speak to myself, that someone would reach out to me. Thus far, the only member that I've heard of that contacted the virus, she's doing well, and I've spoken with her. So I'm depending on the worthy matrons, the district matrons, the area directors to reach out to the members so everyone can be contacted, because I, as a grand matron, obviously cannot do that with the membership. Thus far, except with that acceptance, there are no other devastating news, and I'm going to take it as no news is good news.
That's good. Okay, so now talking about quarantining, is everybody staying at home, or Sister McCann, do you still go into the office, or you?
No, I stay at home, work from home. I used to have to go in every 3 weeks, so we're on rotation at work, but now we stay at home.
Now,
I think the next time we have to go in is May.
Okay. Grandmaster Gillett, you still out in the field, right?
That's correct.
Now,
Every day.
How do you protect yourself when you're out there?
With masks, gloves, prayer, and just go.
Okay. Now, what are you seeing as you're out there as far as what we would term the Pookie and the Shaquitas? Are they still out and about, or are they acting right?
Definitely not. What I would say to my African-American brothers and sisters, please adhere to the stay-at-home policy or safer-at-home policy, whichever your state may have. For some reason, we as African-Americans just tend to want to take this time and hang out. And I ask that we make sure we get out to our brothers and sisters, please stay at home.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Grandmaster Stevens, you said you are staying in, right? Now, what are you doing to keep yourself busy and healthy?
Eat.
Working the fork, the knives, and the spoons. I got that right. But are you getting out of your subdivision to walk around or do anything, or walk back and forth from the kitchen to the living room to the kitchen?
That's the size of it. My doctor told me to stay in.
Okay.
He didn't tell me to walk out, so I stay in. So I have to follow the doctor's instructions.
Okay, now I'm gonna put someone on Front Street, because before we were able to get on live, we learned that we have a seamstress among us who's doing masks, and we've seen quite a few samples of those masks. And so I'm just going to ask that young lady to hold up a couple of the masks that she's made.
I put them away.
Oh.
Kendall, what did I do with the mask?
So Grand Matron Tresvant out of Florida has been busy doing masks. Now tell us how you make those masks.
Sew them.
Okay. So the AKAs, any AKAs, if you need your mask,
Yay!
contact
Yay!
Grand Matron of Florida. This is not a promotion.
They are all reversible. I'm backlogged right now though, but they're all reversible with filters already in for virus and bacteria.
Okay.
They're washable
Oh wow.
and reusable.
Now, what kind of fabric are you using?
I'm using cotton. I'm using all kinds of fabric. As long as you cannot see light through it, you're covered. Even if I use a lighter fabric with the filter that I'm using that's covering this area, it's still good.
Okay.
It does not leave the opening on the side where, you know, stuff can come in through that way.
Okay. Wow. And so are you using like an elastic band? What are you doing to put behind the
Elastic, so far until my elastic runs out, it's elastic bands around the ear.
Okay. Okay.
Where it
So
pulls
now-
it taut on the face.
Say again?
So it will pull it taut on the face so you don't have openings on the side.
Now, what is DST? Dr. Anita Clark, I'm imagining this is another sorority, says we need some DST masks. What is that?
Delta Sigma Theta.
Okay. Oh, yeah, so is coming. Sister McCray wants to know how can they order some, and so we'll circle back around at the end for contact information. How about that?
Okay.
So, being the biggest state as far as Florida is concerned and the largest national district, can you all provide some strategies and tips on how leaders can stay in touch with their officers and how WMs or entity leaders can stay in touch with their members? Because I know that you all are I won't say struggling with it, but I know it's an overwhelming task because of how large the state is.
But Brother Evans, as far as the brotherhood is concerned, I meet with my deputies, my district masters, every second Tuesday. In fact, this is our meeting night here to have conference call in order to make sure everything is still function well within the state. We have time to catch anything that comes toward us during that period of time. And then we have a certain time that we would, my deputies and I, we would communicate with the WMs. There's so many of them. And when they get on the line, they refuse to mute their phones. So it's hard to communicate with them. So we have to start putting a certain amount at a time.
Okay.
But other than that, everything is working fine with the communication in Florida.
Okay. Okay. Sister Tresvant, when it comes to keeping the sisterhood, let's say, I know the structure or the hierarchy is you have session matrons, right?
Area directors.
Okay.
Area directors.
Area directors. Okay. And then you have district matrons, right?
Correct.
So your district matrons oversee your worthy matrons, right?
Correct.
And the reason why I'm doing that is because I believe everybody's structure is the same, but it's kind of educating as I'm asking the questions too, okay?
Okay.
And so what kind of strategies would you suggest for district matrons to keep in contact with their WMs?
Well, what is to say that it can't go in the reverse order where the WMs keep in contact with their district matrons? Because
Okay.
as I previously stated, who would know the membership better
Okay.
than the leader that is working directly with them?
Okay.
So even if the district matron reaches out, other than for a report, she does not know what's going on in the chapter. Nobody can go out and visit now. So I think it should go in the reverse order where the worthy matrons are contacting the district matrons, to, letting them know what's going on in the chapter, the district matrons to the area presidents, the area directors, and then the area directors in turn should contact me.
Okay. And Grandmaster Gillard and Sister McCann, as far as communicating with the Grandmasters and Grand Matrons, right? As far as have you all heard of any members being affected? Like we were on a call last week, and we know that New York is hardest hit. And so I know within the Southeast, we have a couple of hot zones. We know there's pockets in Florida, but then aren't there pockets is Nashville a hot zone?
Nashville and Memphis are hot zones.
Okay. And how are the members doing there? Like, how are you able to keep track as far as if any of the members are affected?
The Grandmaster of Georgia informed me that there was a brother that had the virus, but he's doing well. Okay. Tennessee has not informed me of any brother that has contracted the virus. Okay. Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and Alabama, the same, have not been informed of any brother, okay. But all have seen, the virus take over their cities and states, their states and cities.
Yeah, yeah, I know Alabama, I know Mobile, Alabama was really hit bad as far as one of the hot zones, and the hospitals were overwhelmed there. So I didn't know if we had any members affected in Mobile. Yeah. Sister McCann.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts as far as the sisterhood side, as far as in the National District, Southeast National District, and if you've heard of any sisters or family members of any sisters being affected by it.
For the sisterhood in the Southeast National District, we rely on the Grand Matrons to filter up information through the district matrons and the worthy matrons, and all the reports I'm getting, the worthy matrons are doing an excellent job in keeping in touch with their members. And as Sister Tresvant said, they are closest to our members. They're holding Zoom meetings. My chapter even had a social last Friday. We're having a study session next week. My worthy matron sent me a card. I thought it was nice. And I sent out some cards too, so to some of the older members. So a physical card. I got a card. Okay. Yep. And Fulton County, of course, in Georgia, the Atlanta area is kind of heavy hit for the virus. Unfortunately, we have lost one sister in Atlanta due to the coronavirus. So we do have one death. Also, me personally, I lost my uncle this weekend. He was in Albany, Georgia. He did not make it. He was flown from Albany to Atlanta and on a ventilator, but he didn't make it. So his funeral is this Saturday.
Sorry to hear that. I know that some of the states, it's really hard to hear members when members are affected, or family members of members, because when you see members at conventions, right, that you are embracing them, but then also that family, you're embracing the family, because when we have socials or events, sometimes we have family members there. And I know you talked about a virtual meeting, and I think you were at LPU, right?
Deborah 165.
Deborah 165. Tell us about that virtual social that you had, because I think it's interesting to hear, because I know for Easter, I talked to Sister Hollowell earlier today. She said that all of her family members did a Zoom Easter dinner together. And then
that's
they
sweet.
played bingo on Zoom.
Yeah, you can play games.
We'll get that information later. But tell us about that virtual meeting. And then for those who are also on the call, if you all have heard of any other virtual strategies or ways that members are keeping in contact, it'd be great to share those. So Sister McCann.
Basically, my chapter is Deborah 165 in Atlanta. Sister Jackson is my worthy matron, and she called a social Friday. So we came casual. Everyone had their favorite snacks. And we talked about things that we normally talk about, what shows we're watching, how the family is doing, the kids. Sometimes we brought our kids on to show them like the kids are doing well. My daughter's in the background. One of the other sisters had the son in the background. So we just talked. We talked for about an hour and a half and just laughed and joked and talked about what we're going to do for the weekend. And it was really relaxing and a good way to keep in touch with everybody.
Illustrious McGowan, the Midwest National District Grandmaster, for those who may have caught the call, last week is that he said he goes from room to room in his house. He kind of spends the day or so in one room and then goes into another room. So I thought that was really interesting. And you know, he up there with that General Motors place. You know, he probably got 20 rooms in his house.
Yeah.
He spent a whole month going from room to room. But Grand Matron, Tresvant, have you heard of any virtual things that are going on? Or have you
Of
done
course.
anything virtual?
Of course, prior to this meeting, I was in my chapter meeting tonight. My worthy matron, Candia Pinkney. We had our chapter meeting this evening, and that's the third one.
Okay. Now,
that we had.
how does that work as far as a chapter meeting virtually?
How does it work virtually? We all log in
Okay.
or call in, and she has an agenda that she shares with us,
Okay.
and we go by the agenda just as if we were situated in a building.
Okay.
Covering finances and everything, because that too is important, because monies may have been mailed to the financial secretary or treasurer. So it was just like a regular meeting, but at home.
Okay. But nobody did any signs or anything like that. Like, okay, so and so, do you think?
No signs, but we did have a study session. We did have a study session, just as we normally do it on all of our agendas.
Now, do you vote? Can you vote virtually?
Yes, we did vote virtually. She asked for all in favor of motions to say aye, and she asked for the opposers to say same. And of course, if you don't hear any opposers, you know that you have everybody.
Now, how do you know that who's ever hosting the Zoom hasn't muted those who would be opposed?
Now that I don't know. I don't know, but my suggestion would be, like, if it's pretty small group, not a humongous group, that you would ask them to vote by calling their name.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's
And by just calling their name out.
Okay. Grandmaster
Tresvant says aye.
Okay. Steven, Brotherhood on the virtual side, how y'all doing on Zoom in Florida?
Well,
now hold on before you speak, Grandmaster Steven. Let me just say how amazed I was to see you on the YouTube live stream on Sunday commenting, and then to see you on Facebook. I just never knew that you were that engaged in technology. To see you posting so much. I was like, my God, this is the Grandmaster of Florida, and he's posting all over the place. So yeah, I'm sorry to disturb you.
You got jokes today. No, my thing is when you're in positions, you're gonna have to learn different things that, especially in this computer age. You know, I never knew nothing about a computer, but I learned mostly on my own. And when I wasn't aggravating you telling me what is what, you know, but I'm getting to be very interested in the Zoom and stuff. In fact, I talked to one of my deputies today, and he told me that he was using it down south. I said, okay, I think that's what I'm gonna talk to you about there for us to get started on that.
Yeah.
It would be real interesting.
So with National District Grandmaster, Grand Matron, you all do Zoom meetings with your Grandmasters and Grand Matrons? Have you all been doing any of those?
I have not did a Zoom meeting with the Grandmasters. Basically, we're just emailing and telephone and conference call.
Okay. Okay. Now, what about your lodge? Are the brothers in your lodge using Zoom or what is the other one? GoToMeeting or any of those?
As far as my lodge, no, no. It's on the 5 of us in the meeting, and where we meet is pretty big, so the 10-foot rule, 10 people rule doesn't apply to us. So we're actually meeting.
So y'all still
we're actually meeting, and because it's on the 5 of us, so you know.
Okay. Well, that's cool. The 6 feet.
But I have spoken to grandmasters who are using Zoom a lot to take care of their business.
Oh yeah. You know, we as far as international, we are incorporating Zoom. We're working our way around all the national districts to have conversations to hear from the National District Grand Masters and Grand Matrons. Next week will be Gulf Coast. But you know, now we're in the Southeast and chit-chatting and chewing with the Southeast. And so maybe everybody should have brought, no, not sodas. No, I think we're doing good now. I think I and let Sister McCann speak.
No, no.
Okay. You all are using Zoom, right, Sister McCann?
Say it again.
You all are using Zoom?
The local chapters are using Zoom. I have not called a Zoom meeting with our grand matrons yet. I will do that probably next couple of weeks as the Southeast Convention date approaches. So we will have a Zoom meeting coming up in a couple of
That was
weeks.
a perfect segue into the question I was going to ask on everybody's mind. Like, all the conventions in April have been canceled. All the conventions in May have been canceled. The only next convention to come up in June would be Southeast National District. And are we still on the books?
As of right now, we're still on the books. We're working closely with the Marriott system to, you know, to find out when or if they're going to cancel.
Okay.
The issue is that if we cancel, there's a hefty penalty that we must pay
Right.
versus if the hotel cancel.
Yeah.
So we're trying to wait out the hotel.
Okay. Okay. Any thoughts on that, Sister McCann?
Grandmaster and I have talked about it. He is correct. We're waiting for the hotel to give us some response back. We are in agreement that we would like to either cancel or postpone it because I think it's just too soon for a large group of members to get together. And I think it's better to be healthy and safe than to meet. So, and our sisters across the state and the Southeast, you know, we talked to them and they're basically scared to come out. So, and I can understand that. I'm a little afraid myself to meet in large groups of 300 or 400 people. So we want to make the safest choice possible, healthy choices. And if we don't get to meet, it's okay, but we're going to try to wait out the hotel to see if they can give us, you know, a cancellation or another date or move the contract to next year, look at other options for our membership to keep us safe.
Okay, okay. Now, how was it for you all, Sister Tresman and Brother Stevens, as far as to you all move yours? Like, did the hotel engage you all? Like, cause that was pretty fast after the country started shutting down, that you all made that swift decision to move to August.
Well, the hotel really had approached us.
Okay.
They approached us, you know, and we had one available date,
Okay.
and that was in August, and kind of found out that date was interfering with the mega convention.
Oh,
So
wow.
we had to back up and use our grand officer meeting. Yeah, the grand officer meeting in August, which is August the 6th through the 9th, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, 6th through the 9th.
Okay.
So that's our date now.
Okay.
And if this stuff don't clear up, then we have to cancel this and wait the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I know that the President of the United States is working with some medical experts to try to figure out how to unravel this. I watched the press conference every day for the last 2.5 weeks. I have watched everything that they've said and of course what they've done. And so now they're trying to say May 1st, they're going to start slowly reopening the country, but we don't know what reopening looks like. And then also it's based on the numbers, and Brother Gillett looks like he wants to say something.
Well,
Say it, Brother Gill.
Based on the prediction here in Memphis, Shelby County, they're saying our peak is not going to hit to mid-May, end of May.
The peak.
Yeah, our peak here in Shelby County.
Yeah,
So
no, that's interesting.
With that being,
yeah, I can see that, because you're right, because they said that the United States as a country is following Europe and the United Kingdom. And generally it takes areas 12 days to hit their peak. And so Memphis, depending on where you were, and the other cities, depending on where they were, it's going to take them a while to hit those 12 days. I'm sorry, to hit their peak. And so it depends on where each city is, because literally every state is almost like a country. in the United States. When you look at its population, I think the only challenge is we have a population in the country that can navigate other states and literally go from country to country. And so I know Grandmaster Stevens and Grand Matron Tresvant, you all, well, on one of the calls, somebody said that I-10 and I-95, that the police were at the border stopping people from certain areas. Are they still doing that?
Yes,
Yes, because
the
we're
governor,
still on.
governor's doing that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. And so, but the governor did, I know Florida was late to the party of closing down, but you all are now closed down, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, but now some churches, was it Florida or Tennessee? Somebody declared churches as essential. Maybe it was Texas.
Florida.
Florida.
So on
Florida.
Easter Sunday, were there churches that were in session that you all know of?
I don't know because I didn't attend.
Okay.
I had
You didn't
bedside
know
service.
churches that were in session, but you did go to church on Sunday, right? Virtually?
Virtually, but
Okay.
not in anybody's building.
Okay. Okay, Grandmaster Stevens. Now I know you really heavy into the church. Did you go to church online?
No, I had bedside service.
Okay, okay. Well, how did
Okay,
Bishop
awesome.
Sheets do? Did
I
he do
could-
a good sermon?
I could listen to that here because you know, like I said earlier, you know, my doctor told me don't go outside
Okay.
due to this diabetes and hypertension. I consider it as a high risk.
Okay.
And so I got to follow his orders there.
That's right.
But I look at the news this morning. In Zephyr Hill or somewhere up in that area, they were turning cars around. I don't know for what reason, but the interstate was backed up
Okay.
this morning.
Okay.
But to me, I think they waited a little too late to do this
You mean the state of Florida?
all over.
Okay.
The country.
The country itself. They wait entirely too late. And sometimes, you know, when people is in authority and they misuse their authority and they mess up the whole world, you know, by being like I told my deceased brother one time in the funeral home, you know, the Bible says, seek ye power, power will destroy you. And that's what it almost did here.
Okay.
But you know, but thank God, God is still in control.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he is.
So I'm going to encourage members who may have any questions for the National District Grand Master, Grand Matron to go ahead and post your question, as well as for the Grand Master and Grand Matron for the state of Florida. I will say the AKAs and the DSTs have requested masks, and OES and Masons. So you have Masons who are saying we need masks, OES saying that they need masks, and so you need to open up a mask factory or something. Florida, because, and they want to know the cost of the mask. So that was a question that came across.
I'm not putting that out now because, as I said, right now I'm backlogged. I have a lot of orders pending.
Okay, so do we
So
need to get made in China?
No, they're made right here where I'm sitting. Right here where I'm sitting. And I'm running into the problem because elastic is hard to come by now. Here in South Florida, even thread is hard to come by. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so if a member who wants a mask wants to see the thread and the elastic and the fabric.
Now that's a different story.
That's a different story. Okay,
yes.
We'll work it out. I see your associate grand matron is on, Sister Wimberly. She represented you really well last week on one of the calls, and so I wanted to make sure we gave her a shout out. The Grandmaster for Michigan, illustrious the Lamont Brown, is on. Some names I don't know, so I apologize. We have 181 people right now who are watching, and I can't say hello to all of them. Grandmaster of South Carolina is on. Sister Inetta Bunn, I think she's the education person, right?
Absolutely.
Secretary of Education.
For Florida.
for Florida. Florida.
Yes.
Florida.
Rock.
Knew it was
Okay.
coming.
I was hoping we could get that in at some point. Like Florida rocks. Okay.
Brother Evans.
Yes. I'm sorry.
I-
Before you speak, Phi Beta Sigma also needs masks. Just so you know. It's mechanic. Omega Psi Phi needs masks. Just
Oh God.
I don't think anybody has. I haven't seen any fraternity or sorority masks. Have you all seen any?
You saw one
Yeah.
tonight.
Right, but I'm talking
Yeah.
outside of
Yeah,
our
I've seen them.
circle.
Yeah, they're posted on Facebook. Different people are posting the mask on Facebook.
Okay.
You can see them. The sorority
What were you saying,
mask.
Sister McCann?
No, I didn't. I wanted to mention the sister name that passed in Georgia, so everybody can keep her family in prayer. I did say that she passed. Her name is Sister Deborah Beasley, out of Kelson 88 here in Atlanta.
Okay.
Her worthy matron is Sister Claudette Bowens.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure we put her name out there
Thank you.
for prayer for her family.
We definitely need to keep all our members in prayer. We know that the New York Reverend Sam Austin, he was with the clergy council. He passed away, and his wife was on a ventilator. The last that we heard, and we know that one of the grand matron's son was rushed to the hospital in the northeast area, and so we have to definitely keep the northeast and the state of Michigan. Florida, Georgia. We can see on the map if you go to cdc.gov. You can actually click on coronavirus and see what state is the hottest and how many cases and how many deaths each state has. And so we wanted to make sure that members knew that. And also just to highlight the 5 steps to slow the spread of the virus. And so we wanted to make sure that people were following these steps in case somebody has just landed on Earth and does not know what is going on right now. And people are not traveling, and you've heard of this thing called coronavirus. We want to make sure that people know how it spreads. And last night, I don't know if you all had a chance to log on. The Supreme First Aid Responders and Nurses Department did an excellent presentation talking about COVID-19. Sister Stanfield out of I think New Jersey talked about, she's a nurse and she's a public health nurse, and she talked about just the easy way to take off the mask, with your finger on the elastic band. I thought that was really eye-opening, because I didn't think about using that and then washing your hands down in the water and all that. So for those who need to be reminded, is that you definitely should wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after you have been in a public place or after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. If soap and water are not available, make sure you use a hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. How do y'all deal with that? Is that a struggle for you all?
First of all, we can't get the sanitizer and alcohol in short supply down here, because we are truly a hot spot and people are just buying it up. You can't really find the alcohol in stores, nor can you find the sanitizer.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Likewise here in Tennessee.
Wow. I guess I had some in the house under the, I was raised from a woman from Mississippi. So we had alcohol up under the kitchen sink and alcohol up under the bathroom sink. And so the only thing I didn't have was the aloe vera to mix with it. And then Walmart had this big surge of products come in, and I was able to get the aloe vera. So I was able to make my own hand sanitizer, because I already had the to put it in there. To make the scent. So want to make sure folks know that. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay at home as much as possible. I know I get out sometimes in the morning and walk, but when I see somebody walking towards me, I will cross the street. It's opposite. And I've seen on Instagram, I don't know if you all have been tracking this, but I've seen on Instagram that they said all it takes is one person to infect you, and if you have a comorbidity, you can go from very well to sick very fast because of the way that it attacks the lungs, the respiratory system, and that's where the ventilators and all that are needed. And so we definitely want to avoid close contact with people who are sick when we're going out in public, and put social distance between yourself and other people, and that's 6 feet. Unless you go to a Brother Gillet's lodge, y'all gonna keep 10 feet.
And let me say something on that. Let me say something. The reason we're able to meet is because we all work together.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
you know,
Because the president may be watching.
that's why I had to clarify that. You know,
The president
we know to meet, you know,
say first.
say we got to say and go from there. You know, it's not like, you know, so we all work together after meeting, after we work, get off work.
Okay.
Hey man, what's going on in the lodge? You know, may have a quick, you know, asking questions session.
Okay.
And we're gone.
Okay. Now, Sister Toya Young says you can get what did she say? Aloe vera. She said Amazon, you have to watch it daily. Made some for my family. I think she's talking about alcohol. So, and also, let me correct myself. Somebody text me. Reverend Austin is from New Jersey, and Sister Stanfield, Michelle Stanfield, is from New York. And so I misquoted earlier when I talked about who was the nurse and the Reverend Austin. So cover your mouth when you're coughing. You know, Brother Stevens, when you're around folks, make sure you put your elbow over your mouth. There you go. Yeah. Now don't shake your hand. Now just. I see you get your hand. I'm like, we ain't even doing the depth mode. And for those, just to give folks a real quick review, the reason why we're dressed up in our regalia and our attire is because for what, 2 months now or more, we haven't been able to put on what we know to be true that we would definitely wear at least 2 or 3 times in a month. And so we wanted to kind of share with the membership that feeling of seeing the black suits and the white dresses, and just bring it to your remembrance the joy of being a member of International Masons and Eastern Stars. And this is what we do. Also, everyone should wear a cloth face cover, preferably made by Peachy Tresvant. Go out in public and giving you, I need a percentage just so you know. The cloth face cover is meant to protect other people in case you are infected. And so, they say people are asymptomatic. You can be walking around looking very healthy, but be carrying the virus. And so you want to be very conscious of, just because a person look healthy does not necessarily mean they don't have the virus.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, so I just seen somebody said some of the liquor stores. Now, I don't know how they know this, but they said some of the liquor stores are selling hand sanitizers made in local distilleries in their stores. Now, how does Sweet Intentions know that the liquor stores are selling hand sanitizer? Okay.
And where?
I'm sure whoever this is may not disclose who they are now.
No. Where? What liquor stores? Where?
Okay, so yeah, so we're waiting. Sweet Intentions. We want to know which liquor stores. And where they at. Yeah. So wherever liquor store that's selling, let us know. Also, if you're in a private setting and do not have on your cloth face covering, remember to always cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Throw away the used tissues in the trash and immediately wash your hands. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces daily. And so this is what I struggle with. Like, if nobody's in the house with me and I've already cleaned up one time, Sister Tresvant, do I need to clean my house again and ain't nobody been here?
If you go outside of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I'm in the house all day and I didn't clean up, do I need to go back through the house and clean it up because I touched some stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody been in here but me.
You carry germs.
Okay.
That's that mortician. He knows.
Okay. Let me go to the Grandmaster of the largest national district. Grandmaster Gillett,
Yes, sir.
If I am in the house all day, already cleaned up and disinfected, right? I'm not going to infect myself if I'm caught. Like I sneeze openly in the house, like ain't nobody here to look at me, because you know nowadays they say you have to justify your sneeze and your cough now. Have you all been doing that? Have y'all seen that? That people sneeze and say, "Oh, it's the wind."
Yeah, we have seen that, definitely.
Allergies. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Grandmaster Gillett, you want to give me some advice on that? Or not right now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It's better safe than sorry. Yes.
I need to go back
Yeah.
to my house, which nobody has been in, and clean it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It made it seep in from the outside. You don't through a crack or something, you know. Just
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's probably the sign that we need to wrap this Zoom call up. Talking about stuff seeping in from the outside. I want to give everybody on the call an opportunity to say their final remarks and message to the members who are watching and the other leaders who are watching as we begin to wrap this up. And we're going to work our way up. So we're going to start with our mask maker.
Well, I have to say it has been an enjoyable evening and being able to share with the sisterhood and brotherhood our thoughts on what is happening, and we all will be in prayer for them. And I just like to say to my National District Grand Matron and Grand Master, keep in mind when you're dealing with the hotel, how they have border crossings in place now, and let us pray that if they have, that they don't have them, because that means it's even less people that can come. So we're going to be in prayer for you as you be in prayer for us.
Thank you. Grandmaster Stevens. Robert
Yes,
Lee
sir.
Stevens.
That's right. That's right. After me was no other. I would like to.
Thank God for that.
I would like to say to my IFAM family, please be careful and be safe. And if it's God's will, we will see each other real soon and eat some oranges.
From where?
From Florida.
They're all imported now.
From China. Did they come from China?
They might. They everywhere but Florida.
Okay.
No, we'll find something in the backyard somewhere.
Okay. Okay.
Now, so let me be clear now. In August, when we come to Florida's Grand Session, there will be a welcome table with oranges on it. Is that what we're hearing?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't say
I was coming with a bag.
But we will have something for you. We
Okay.
will have something for you there,
Okay.
And, I also would like to say, that please remember our elderly brothers and sisters. We need to call them as often as possible. Some of them is in the nursing home, some of them in the hospital, and they just want to hear a word from one of their brothers or their sisters. So, like I was telling the president on yesterday, we are so easy to forget about the bridge that brought us over.
Yes, sir.
And we need to go back to the old time Masonic ways and keep our brothers and sisters lifted up in prayer and be blessed.
Now,
Love you.
When you were saying that, I thought about that old gospel song, "Let Us All Go Back to the Old Landmark."
Old landmark.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That's when you're Baptist. You probably don't know nothing about that, Brother Stevens.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I know all about it.
Sister McCann, your final thoughts.
Yes, just want to thank the brotherhood and the sisterhood for joining us this evening. We truly care about you and your families and your well-being. We're in continued prayer for you and your families. Please continue to pray for us. Make safe and healthy choices and follow all the CDC guidelines. Stay at home and stay prayed up.
Man.
Now we got the National District Grand Master, got them plaques behind them. Your final thoughts and words of inspiration, Grand Master. Lord, we lost his audio. Okay, I think we can hear you. Lucius Gillett. Had he not moved, he would still be able to talk. That room there. Y'all see him moving around?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
something's getting ready to happen, and now he done froze on us. Lord have mercy. Okay. Okay,
He's
now.
back.
Brother Gillett. And we have no audio. No, we have no audio. You want to do some sign language?
Yeah.
Okay. If Brother Gillett could be heard, he would be giving his best wishes to the brothers and sisters in the Southeast National District and sending love on behalf of the National District Grand Lodge, and that the prayers and thoughts of the National District Grand Lodge and the Brotherhood is definitely with all of the brothers and the sisters throughout our order. And I want to definitely thank everybody for following us tonight on YouTube as well as on Facebook and sharing the video. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but we thank you all for staying with us during this whole call, this Zoom meeting. And we want to wish you all a blessing. Good night. May God bless International Free and Accepted Modern Masons Incorporated and the Order Eastern Star, illustrious James O. Dogan, our beloved Supreme President and CEO, as well as our First Lady, Sister Minnie Dogan, and all Supreme National Districts, grand and local leaders, and most importantly, our members and our youth. God bless you all, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.